Have you ever felt like the more you care, the more it hurts? You give your heart, your energy, your time, thinking it's love, thinking it's noble. But here's the hard truth: caring without discipline isn't strength, it's exposure. The world doesn't slow down just because you gave it everything. It doesn't protect what you offer, it often takes it without ever looking back. And when your peace depends on someone else's attention, their moods, their approval, you're no longer in control of your own life. Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." When we believe that love means losing ourselves, we set ourselves up for pain. Because strength isn't how deeply you feel, it's how wisely you manage those feelings. So ask yourself, are you offering love or are you offering yourself as a sacrifice? We've all been taught that caring deeply is a sign of love, that being available, open, and endlessly giving makes us good people. But here's a hard truth: love without limits isn't love, it's self-neglect. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And that power, it begins with setting boundaries, not just with others, but with your own emotions. Because when you give without direction, when your empathy is constant and reckless, it doesn't build connection, it empties you. Real love isn't found in pouring yourself out until there's nothing left. It's found in choosing how much of yourself you give and to whom. So ask yourself, are you giving because it's right, or because you're afraid of what happens if you stop? Stoicism teaches us this. You don't have to stop feeling. You just have to lead your feelings, not be led by them. Here's something we don't talk about enough. People will take as much as you let them, not because they're bad, but because it's human nature. It's not their job to protect your energy, that's yours. If you keep giving without limits, your time, your care, your attention, don't be surprised when you feel drained. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." But bravery isn't about fighting back or pushing others away. It's about standing firm in who you are, even when others expect you to bend. Self-command means knowing where you end and others begin. It's saying, "I love you, but I won't lose myself to do it." So ask yourself, have you been setting boundaries, or just hoping people will respect you without them? Freedom begins the moment you choose your limits with courage. That's not selfish, it's strength. Let's clear something up. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care with clarity, with choice, with intention. We live in a world that confuses silence with coldness, that sees boundaries as rejection. But detachment isn't about shutting down. It's about rising above the noise so you can finally hear yourself. When you stop chasing validation from others, something powerful happens. You start moving from a place of peace, not desperation. You become whole not because someone else completes you, but because you've chosen to complete yourself. And here's the beauty of it: you still care. But now your care has roots. It's not scattered or needy, it's focused. You choose where your energy flows, and that choice, that's real love. Love that respects both you and the people you give it to. So ask yourself, are you loving from clarity or from fear of being left behind? Let's be honest, not everyone deserves access to your heart. And yet many of us give it away too easily, hoping that love alone will be enough to fix, to heal, to hold others in place. But indiscriminate empathy isn't noble, it's dangerous. Because when you love without discernment, you risk turning love into dependency. And dependency, it's not love, it's fear disguised. The truth is, people often act in their own interest. That doesn't make them bad, it makes them human. But it does mean this: you must be the guardian of your soul. You decide who earns your energy, your time, your care. Genuine love isn't about giving endlessly, it's about giving wisely. So the real question is this: are you loving someone? Or are you clinging to them because you're afraid of being alone? One is rooted in power, the other in surrender. Have you ever felt disappointed? Not because someone failed you, but because they didn't meet the story you built in your head. That's the danger of emotional expectations. We don't just get hurt by what happens, we suffer because we expected something else, expected more love, more attention, more effort. And when reality falls short, it stings. But here's what Stoicism teaches us. You don't have to be untouched by life. You just don't have to be ruled by it. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting those feelings control you. It means staying grounded, especially when everything around you is chaos. So pause and ask yourself honestly, are you caring from a place of strength or from desperation? Are you giving from wholeness or hoping someone else will fill the gaps? Inner peace isn't found in controlling others. It's found in learning to lead yourself. Let's talk about love, not the romantic kind we see in movies, but the kind that often comes from fear. How many times have you cared, not because you chose to, but because you were afraid to be alone? Real love should never be rooted in fear. It should be a conscious choice, not a desperate escape from emptiness. Because when you care without being grounded in yourself, you slowly start to vanish. Piece by piece, others take what you freely offer until all that's left is the echo of who you used to be. But here's the shift. Your deepest connection should never be with someone else. It should be with you. Because when you're emotionally independent, when you've built a relationship with your own heart, you stop needing love to survive and start sharing it from a place of strength. You become whole first, and that changes everything. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." So what color is your soul today? We live in a world that celebrates loud expressions of emotion, big gestures, dramatic words, constant availability. But real strength, it's not in how loudly you love, it's in how wisely you love. Disciplined love doesn't mean you shut people out. It means you set boundaries, not from bitterness, but from clarity. Because you know your peace is sacred. It means you give your heart not as a reflex, but as a decision. It means you say yes when it's aligned and no when it's not, and you do so without guilt. That's where true power lies, in loving with intention, in caring with strength, in standing in your truth, even when the world tries to pull you in every direction. There's a quiet kind of wisdom in learning this one truth. You don't have to give your heart to everyone who asks for it. Real strength isn't found in constant sacrifice. It's found in discernment, in knowing when to give and, just as importantly, when to step back. Because freedom, it's not doing whatever you want. It's having the clarity to choose how, when, and to whom you offer your care. When your self-worth no longer depends on how others see you, when it's rooted deep within, you stop chasing approval and start honoring your energy. You realize that your love is not a currency to be traded for validation. It's a sacred offering. So here's the question. Are you giving because it's aligned with your values or because you're afraid of being forgotten? Selective caring isn't selfish, it's wise. And in that wisdom, you finally become free. There comes a moment when you realize peace isn't something you find out there. It's something you protect from within. And that protection, it begins with self-respect, respecting yourself enough to say, this energy, this heart, this soul, I won't give it away to what drains me. Because the strength to say no isn't coldness, it's wisdom. It's knowing your limits and honoring them without guilt. Real love, balanced love, doesn't leave you exhausted. It doesn't ask you to shrink or disappear. It nourishes you. It strengthens both you and the people you choose to give it to. And when you finally understand that you hold the reins of your own heart, that you get to decide how far your care goes, that's where the real peace begins. So ask yourself, do you respect your soul enough to protect it? Because the world won't do it for you, but you always can. So here's the truth the world won't tell you. You can care deeply and still protect your peace. You can love fully without losing your shape. Real power isn't loud. It's not in the drama or the chase. It's in how calmly you choose your presence. How you show up not out of desperation, but out of intention. That's the Stoic way. It's not about shutting your heart down. It's about holding it with strength. Because you are not here to be consumed. You're here to walk forward with clarity, calm, and command. So the next time someone pulls away or life asks you to bend, pause, breathe, and remember, you were never meant to be ruled by emotion. You were meant to master it. That's what it means to be sovereign. And that's where true peace begins.